the age of something by the hardware on the back of the picture, or the nails. And this looks, it's wonderful. It's such a vintage piece, such a family piece. Very, very nice. Value, if you had to put value, $50 is where I would put it. Who is the Coca-Cola tray? Okay. All right. If one would go on eBay and say Coca-Cola tray, oh my gosh. Or if you ever watch the Pickers, they're always trying to hunt Coca-Cola stuff. There is a range, so that most of the value is based on the image that is inside. The minute you see a one-piece bathing suit, you know that the censors have made this. This is a swimsuit of 30s and 40s, as is the hairstyle. And it almost, it has a very glamorous kind of look. She has her sandals on. So when you're analyzing something, you want to look at hairstyle and shoes and the diving board with the canvas on it for safety. But these were very, very popular. Every home had one. And you used it as an occasional tray. You actually used them in the house. So they begin anywhere around $25, and they can go up into the hundreds. This is in good condition. There's a little bit of rusting in the back, but there's no dents. And more importantly, the front lithograph's very good. Very good. $60.
$60. Nice.
It's fun. It's nice. Nice. Whose are these things? All right. This is a very exciting item.
We're excited.
Yeah. These are very nice. What we have here, and I want to be careful handling them too much, are a set of marionettes. And there is this character, and there is Popeye.
I just got the chills.
And they are cute, wonderful, A++. The head is paper mache of a material which is usually a wood product. Actually, it's sawdust and glue. And Popeye has the winking eye, and his costume is World War I Navy. This is not World War II. So he has the wide collar in the back and the bell-bottom trousers. Of greater, I can't say greater because they're both good, is the black figure. The paint on the face is outstanding. That has survived. This face is weathered a little bit more. But these are little marionettes that would have been, this could have been in a school or a home entertainment toy for a child. And this guy alone, there is a whole market of black art, and it's often the collectors are African American friends. And you think they would be offended, but they're not. They actually, often it's my African American customer who will ask, do I have anything in black art? Once again, I don't deal in black art for its ethnic purposes. I do not wish to make money off them because so many of them are mocking. They show a black child eating a watermelon. They're very stereotypical, and I don't want to go there. So I do not carry black art items. But this is fabulous. Would I buy this? Yes. Here's what I say, I don't carry black art. I don't carry black demeaning art, although he's certainly not dressed in a business suit. So there's a little stereotypical here. We're seeing the black man is only worthy of a pair of overalls. But look at the face. Wonderful. Even though the marionette part is fragile. And of course, everybody knows Popeye, and he has the winking eye. Even the paint on the face is perfect. Because that's exactly the character from the comic strips and films. But he is wonderful also. So these are outstanding. All right, value. Gosh, I have seen these a piece in the vicinity of $450. They move over into the doll market, and they're very, very stable, and people buy them and they display them. Sometimes they hang them on the wall this way and let their little feet. Rarely people concern themselves about restringing them. I have yet to see dealers, unless you're a marionette person, and I actually have in my Rolodex a marionette person who I would try to call him and consult him, but and the body is a wedge of wood. There's no attempt to make the body three-dimensional. But these are very cool. These are very cool. In fact, in a strong market, they can be as high as $650, $700 apiece. A strong market being in the East Coast.
I convinced him to buy those.
Where did you find them? The shop?
We were at a garage sale.
Oh my gosh.
$200 for the set. We got them done. We were walking away. I said $40 for both of them.
Oh my gosh. Good job.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I really wanted them.
Yes. And particularly in certain markets, these would be very, very important. Not so much here in Ohio, but in the shows I do east, there's another price structure. There's stuff I pay. It's outrageous sometimes. But very nice. You did well.
Yay.
And Barbie dolls. Who's the Barbie doll person? You can buy books on Barbie doll.
I've looked, but I'm just trying to get a sense of we're finally ready to say let's sell them and that. And I gotten them from my mother-in-law, and you'll see on there's two dolls. One's a Barbie, one's Midge.
Yes.
But she had a friend that actually knitted a lot of clothes for them as well. So
Yes.
I wasn't sure where it's best, to get a thought of what they're worth, but also where is my best place to consider if I wanted to sell them, where I should go to do that.
All right. She moves into the toy market, and particularly the doll market, and particularly there's a wonderful doll show in Washington, D.C. I would be Googling the Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C., their event center, because there is a very strong market there. And there are doll auctions. And the strongest house for doll auctions, I hope I can pronounce it correctly, is Thibault, Thiubault. And they have doll auctions. If you Google that, the computer will correct the spelling. They have doll auctions. That is where she would go. Or you consign her to a doll dealer and she sells her for you. But she's in very good condition.
Do you know what
I know
year?
they're vintage.
It's early.
Yeah. I know that they have their stamp on her
Yeah.
product, so I know that and I believe it's around 1962.
Yes.
And they do our stamp Japan, which is.
She's a totally different weight. She's much heavier than the typical Barbie doll that my youngster used in the 70s, which you see at the flea market. This is another whole era. And I would be protecting her hair because she has her original hair. And usually that's the part that some little girl cut off with a pair of scissors and the hair stands up like she has her finger in a socket. So that, and even the expression on the face is totally lacks the sensuality of the dolls of the 70s and 80s, where there's an alluring face. This is a sweet face. Value, oh my gosh. Here you would have to go into the, Google it and put the time on her. But they're up in value.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I guess that's one of the questions I have. You talk about value of a doll versus sometimes you'll see on eBay, but on eBay you see such a difference of price.
Yes.
Versus
Right.
what you see as a value. So I wasn't sure.
Well, that's
how
why eBay is a scary place sometimes. It can be
Yes.
very scary. I've been very successful and bought an umbrella stand off eBay. My next piece was a failure because they advertised it as a jardiniere. To me, a jardiniere is that white piece that was here. Wrong. The jardiniere that came was this big. It was a 3-inch, and they called it a jardiniere, and they were correct. In Roseville, I had forgotten the small, round ball shape.
would be a baby sister to the piece like we had here earlier. That's called a jardiniere. That turkey was this big. I was heart sick. I still sold and made money. I was mad. I said, I will sell this and make money, and I did. So I got my money back. So I only use that to illustrate. You have to be very careful on eBay. The price is how it's interpreted. That's why I always advise people, if they're selling something, find the coin person, find the paper ephemera person, find the good artist, and find a doll dealer, a very good doll dealer who can guide you.
So how do you know, if you go to a dealer, how do you know what they are giving on the price is a really a good price? Say if I brought a doll in that was expensive, because I know the one Barbie that you've seen somewhere around if I look at the books, because I went to the library, it was around $400, $450 just for the doll. But if I took it to a dealer and I didn't know, how do I know that the dealer is going to tell me 400, 450 versus saying, oh, this is really good, 200, and they're looking to make something on it versus you. How do you know that?
No dealer should purchase the item they appraise. Good business ethics. Because otherwise, I could come in here and say, you know, I think these are worth $20 a pop.
Yeah. Right.
I know I do a show in August where I could get $450 for it. In a different market up in New England, where they come out of New York City, the decorators. So that you're right. How do you know? How do you know? Part of it is developing, looking at their merchandise. Look at what they are selling. Usually, my experience has been that better the merchandise, the more credible and believable is the dealer. There is a correlation. If you deal in schlock, your business practices are schlock. If you deal in quality, usually inside is a quality person. Now that, I could be wrong, because every now and then they throw somebody in jail because he misrepresented something and he zipped somebody at an auction, and so I wouldn't want to be held accountable for that totally, but there is a correlation. So you want to find a credible doll dealer. Where do you find one? You might have to drive a distance to a good doll show, and I believe there's one in Columbus. You want to get in touch with the doll clubs. These would be women and men who get together to talk about their dolls. And the doll clubs are interested in education, and they would be a better advocate for it.
So you get an idea of the value first, and then,
Yes.
so if you wanted to sell it, then
Right.
how do you go about then actually working with somebody to sell it?
You ask them point blank, what do you think you would be able to sell this for? You ask them point
So
blank.
can you work with another
Don't ask them,
dealer?
do you want to buy it?
Okay.
Ask them, what do you think you might be able to sell this for? See what they say.
And then if you do you take it to an auction then once you have
All
that
right.
sense of price?
A word
then-
about auctions. They're equally scary because you have to pay to have the item placed in the auction, and it's costly. It's sometimes as high as 20%
Wow.
that the auctioneer takes off the top of the sale price. That's why I like doll clubs, doll shows. To sell an auction at Thibault is an upscale. They might even reject your item. Some auction houses will reject your item because it isn't classy enough. I doubt they would do that there, but that does happen. But that's the route I think. Okay. Are there any other items? Are there any items like this? Oh, three just came. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Oh, no. All right. All right. This is a little decorative bird that is for home decoration, primarily, and it is factory made and is probably meant just for decorative purposes. So $15 or so. Now the lamps. Lamps are sort of interesting. When we go to this one, the reason I like to put this one first is look at the age of the electrical equipment that's on it, which tells me it's a little earlier by how it's wired. The bottom is closed. This was probably originally open. But this is a very pleasing lamp. Age of this is the 40s. It would have been in a living room where there was a rather fussy living room. The drapes would have been floral. They would have been floral fabric on the sofa, and these lamps. The shape of the lamp would have been very, very sculpted. These are readily available. I see them anywhere from $15 to $30 for the base. This one, similar age, has a little bit more going for it. It is a picture, decal, some flashing. This is from the 50s, and is again very nice.
It's got a label on the back.
Yeah, but their label on the back. In someone's store, handcraft, American China, hand decorated. Yeah, this is very nice. Probably from the 50s, and very pleasing. Again, would have had a shade of this. You don't want to buy a square shade. You don't want to buy that tunnel shade. And nice. Usually, often now you probably put them in a bedroom where there's a little softer. Yeah, they're very nice.
Beautiful.
Here, right.
125?
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you say 125? No, 20. Oh, I would pay more. They're beautiful.
They're salty.
Thank you so much.
Love them, really do. Thank you, yay!
Is anybody else gonna have lunch? Hot dogs, chips.
Yay! Say goodbye from the Antiques Roadshow in Richfield. Thanks, everybody.